Hello everybody, welcome to celloprofessor.com. This is my YouTube channel and my name is Jamie Feist. I teach at Central Michigan University. Thanks for tuning in today. So what are we talking about today? We're talking about shifting, or perhaps a better way to think of it is position changes, or a position change. Takes more syllables to say that, so we usually just say shifting. But I think it's really helpful when you're connecting two positions that you think of it in terms of something larger. What do I mean by that? In other words, there's a note you're leaving and there's a note you're going to, but those notes are part of something larger. They're part of a position. They are a note in a position or even in a finger pattern. So I think it's much better for the mind to think of it that way than just note to note. You're not shifting from some spot, individual spot here, to some individual spot there. Those spots are part of a position. So that's my first point, all right? But before I go any further, let me just demonstrate a type of shift, all right? Because we are talking about clean shifts today. It's when we don't want to hear, a big slide between the notes. We want it clean. So let me just play you a little something here, all right? There you go. So that's just a little excerpt from the Haydn D major concerto. I'm going to move closer into the camera here because I want you to watch very carefully which finger I am shifting on, which finger maintains contact with the string that takes me from one position to the next. So I'm going to go nice and slow, so watch very carefully. Okay, did you catch that? I'm going to go really slow and and describe it as I go. Watch. Shifting on one. Shifting on one. Shifting on one. Shifting on one again. Here I'm shifting on two. All right, so what I did is I was shifting on the departure finger. In other words, the old finger, the finger I'm leaving. That finger is taking me to the new position. Even though that's not the note, actual note I'm going to, I'm actually going to an F sharp there, a 3. But I'm actually going to be traveling on 1 to get me there. That's actually an E. So the way I think of it is, I'm shifting to an E and putting 3 down. Does that make sense? Then I'm going from an E to a G. Those are the notes in the music, but I'm going to use the F sharp to take me to the G. Does that make any sense? Am I clear, or am I talking gibberish here? Okay, so in other words, when we shift, we are typically maintaining contact with the string. We're staying close with the string, folks. Unless we're doing some huge hopperoo, where you're jumping up here or something. But even in most of those cases, we're still maintaining contact. We're staying in touch with the string. Right? Not losing touch with the string, folks. We're maintaining contact. So we're going to have an easier example. And, at this time, why don't you get your cello? If you have your cello there, go ahead and get it. We're going to try some stuff together here in just a second. But what we're talking about specifically today is the clean shift. The clean shift. And that involves shifting on the departure finger. That's how I like to think of it. I mean, not always, but a lot of the time. We're not thinking note to note. We're thinking position to position. It's like you have multiple GPSs going on in your brain then when you think of the note you're shifting to as part of something larger. All right, not just this pinpoint place on the fingerboard to this pinpoint place on the fingerboard. No, you're shifting from this note in this larger position to this larger position, that note in this larger position. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. All right, I'm going to move back to my other spot. Give me a sec. So this clean shift is sometimes called the German shift. It's sometimes called, my teacher called it the anticipated shift for various reasons. Some people might just call it an old finger shift, a departure finger shift, clean shift, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. But the point is that we are going to be shifting on the old finger. But it's not just the old finger. All right? If you have a change of bow during the shift, you also have an old bow and a new bow, like this. That's the shift we're going to practice in a moment. So you notice here, I'm going to do an up bow on an E, down bow F. So I have an old bow, which is the up bow. The departure bow is the up bow. The arrival bow is the down bow. So I'm shifting during the old bow. I also have two strings. I have a D string and an A string. So I'm also going to shift on the D string, and then not until I'm ready for the new finger am I going to put the finger down on the A string. So I'm shifting on the old finger, the old bow, and the old string. So I've got a little saying for this, folks. Why not? Old finger, old bow, old string, old everything. What do you think of that? What do you think of that little saying? Not bad? Yeah, so that's what we're going to practice right now. So if you have your cello, get it out. Let's actually practice this. So we're in first position, E. Let's first find our positions, right? E. First finger on the D string. And we're shifting to fourth position. Fourth position is basically right here. Your thumb is right at the base of the neck. And we're on the A string. It's going to be an F. But let's find where our first finger is first. So if you're not real familiar with it, put your thumb at the base of the neck. Put your thumb, first finger across from it. There's your E. Okay, you also have a harmonic there. If you lightly touch first finger on the A string in fourth position, you'll get that E harmonic. And then pull the string down. Don't squeeze it down. Pull the string down. This way. Pull it down. There's E. So we're going to this note, the F. Second finger. Second finger, fourth position on the A string. So what I recommend first, before you even try to connect the positions, is hang out in the departure position and the arrival position. So let's say we're in the key of F. So that would be E, F, and G is in the key of F. We don't have an F sharp, right? So I would just do something like this. Just hang out. Different combinations of notes. Okay, let's go back up to fourth position. Find that E again. Thumb at the base of the neck, E. If you want to find your harmonic, there it is. And then do the same thing. Same notes. In this situation, it's the same. Something like this. And then you maybe do a... This is a powerful way to practice, folks. Hang out in both positions before you even try anything. You get the idea. That's step number one. Hang out in the positions. Okay, next step is we are going to be shifting on the old finger, which is 1. We're leaving on an E, right? So that's the note finger we're shifting on. And we're going to stay on the old string. Old finger, old bow, old string, old everything, right? Our little saying. And we're going to shift on our old bow, which is the up bow. And then we're going to re-articulate the new finger and the new bow on the A string. So here's the next step. So what am I shifting to? Right, we're shifting to this A, first finger, on the D string. Same place, fourth position. Put the thumb at the base of the neck. Here's the first finger on the D string. You can get a harmonic there too. The A. Okay, you got it? So now we're going to do this. Up bow. We're going to shift to the A on the up bow. Now we're in the correct position. And I'm just going to put 2 down on the A string with the down bow. See, the beauty of this old finger shift is you get to measure exactly how far the distance is when you shift on the same finger. It's exactly that distance. Because, let's say you were shifting to 4, right? That's the same distance as this. Even though it sounds much bigger, it's still fourth position to first position. Right? So what this enables you to do is to measure the distance exactly, which increases accuracy. Okay, so that was our first step. E, A, and don't worry about the slide. Go ahead and slide. And then an F. Good. Now what we're going to do, we got to start getting rid of the A, because the A is not written in the music. That's just a helping note. That's what my teacher used to call it, a helping note. We got to turn that helping note into a ghost note. A violist named Dave Holland taught at Interlochen for like 40 years, taught at CMU for a number of years too. He calls them ghost notes. All right, so here we go. We're going to turn it into a ghost note. So step number 2 is do a dotted rhythm. Long, short, long. We're getting rid of it, folks. Let's turn that helping note into a ghost note already. Okay, so that's step number 2. Now what we need to do is this. I like to make the next step to be a double stop, because that way you don't get to the ghost note, because you don't get to the helping note early, because when you're doing this you're actually there a little early. Okay, it's just for practice. We actually don't want to get there until the exact time you're ready for the F. So we're going to do it as a double stop. And you can still have a big sounding shift if you want. So now we're almost to the last step. Now we're going to, don't get there early, just right when you're ready for the F. Again, is this making any sense? Is it gibberish or is it making sense? Okay, so that's the next step. So here's where we are at this point. We still have this, loud sounding shift. So now we got to get rid of that. We got to get rid of it. So what you're going to do is you're going to release the pressure in both hands into the string. Release the weight. Release, but maintain contact. Now, after you release the pressure in both hands, you have to reapply the pressure when you get to the new position. So here you are with the weight or the pressure, whatever you want to call it. Get to the new position and you reapply. Release the pressure in both hands. Reapply in the new position. That's an important point to remember as well. So if you watch my bow, the bow slows while my left arm and hand shift. Watch, the bow slows. See it? It's going only during the shift. So you got to, what is that? Tap your head and rub your stomach. That 2 arms are going to do different things here. Welcome to the world of cello, right? So you're going to release, and then you're going to slow the bow. And here's where things get fun, because you can control exactly how much shifting you want. Maybe you want still some shift. Yeah. Or maybe you don't want any. So it's like, boom, a big air bubble between them, depending on the music. Or, more often, even in the clean shift, you'll still have a little bit of connection sound. Did you hear it? It's quiet. See, there's still, you can control how much of that sound in between do you want. Did you hear that? Different versions of it. Or, you see, you can control exactly how much of that first finger, connection there is. I call it a connection. I guess technically it's a slide, but it's a quiet slide. Now, what happens if you're not, if the shift is on the same string? Or the shift is on the same finger. You're not changing fingers. Or the shift is on the same bow. Like, for example, let's say I'm going from this E to the A in a same bow. There's no old finger. There's no old string. There's no old bow. There's no new finger, new string, and new bow. It's all the same, right? All right, I'm shifting from 1 to the E on the down bow on the same string. In that case, you just release, for a clean shift, you release the pressure in both hands, and you slow the speed of the bow down, and then reapply the pressure. And that's an important feature of the other shift too. After you release both hands, you have to reapply when you get to the new position. But right? So let's say it's a first finger to second finger again, but it's on the same string. Well, then it's just on the same string. You just shift on the old finger on the same string, but the old bow. There's always that release and a reapplication of the pressure after you arrive, or the weight, whatever you want to call it. Alrighty? So that's an important aspect of the shift too. Okay, I just threw a bunch of stuff at you there, right? I just throwing it. Hopefully you caught on to what I was doing, but that's how you can do a clean shift. All right? Okay, where am I in this? Boy, there was so much to talk about. Yeah, I think I did all of it. Yeah, and then, in a video coming up, I'll talk about the portamento shift, where you actually have a slide. So it's backwards. Everything's new. Slide on the new finger, new bow. Wait, new finger, new string, new bow, new everything. Okay. I think that's all I got. Every time I do these videos, I'm like, oh, I forgot to talk about that thing. I'm probably forgetting something. I'm probably forgetting what it is, but I think I got it all. All right? So have fun with your shifting practice, and that's it for now. Stay tuned for more shifting videos. Classes start in 1 week at CMU, and then I won't be able to do as many. I'm kind of trying to do a bunch of them before school starts up again. And then I won't be able to do as many. But I'm gonna quick throw a bunch out for the rest of this week. All right. Talk to you later. Take care. Bye now, folks.